Tucker Carlson went and did it again. If you're one of the people who defended Tucker when he flew to Russia to interview Vladimir Putin, I'd like to ask you if you've had an equal defense of him going and interviewing the dictator of Iran. Now, there are differences for sure. Iran is one of the top sponsors of terrorism in the world. The Iranian government has promised to rid the world of Jewish people and then move on to ridding the world of Americans. The big Satan, starting with the little Satan, they call us the big Satan. That's at least what we're told. And I watch Memory TV. I hope you do. It tracks Middle East media. I've seen what children in Iran are taught and in Hamas territories are taught. And I've seen them be taught to be terrorists. And I've seen them being taught openly to hate Jewish people, to believe that they're literal animals. It's very difficult to watch, and it's very real. The question I have for people who are upset that Tucker Carlson agreed to have this conversation is, why did you not get upset that he had it with Putin? We were told that Putin's our enemy. Well, I don't know that he is. I wasn't upset by either of these because I don't see Tucker as a policymaker. I don't see Tucker Carlson as president. I see Tucker Carlson as an opinion journalist. And I see Tucker Carlson with a program that has one of the biggest footprints in so-called alternative media, which is actually much more mainstream. Now, that said, I have friends of mine who probably have a real problem with this. And I should ask him. One of my friends went to war in the Middle East. He was deployed 3 separate times in the Middle East as a medic attached to the SEAL teams. He fought a battle in literal Babylon. Of course, he lost brothers there. And yeah, in a way, I think it changed him. And in a big way, I think it propelled him to be the man God has always designed him to be. When he came back to America, he was a physician's assistant. He helped his wife live 20 years beyond where she was supposed to live. While she had cancer, he did this through the talents God gave him. He also founded a company to honor fallen SEALs. It's called Bone Frog, and they make coffee. Tim shows a mentor who started Seattle's best coffee, with such good coffee that Starbucks was forced to buy them to get them out of the way. It's still better coffee. Dave mentors the teams. He even makes some of the roasts. And yes, Bone Frog itself is the sign of a fallen SEAL, that insignia. Every bag says God Country Team. When you purchase it, you get 10% of the proceeds go to the Navy SEAL Foundation. So do this. Try the coffee. If it sucks, spit it out of your mouth, joke about it, make fun of Tim. Just don't do it in person because then he will unalive you. Let's not have that. If you love the coffee, subscribe. It's bonefrogcoffee.com/Todd. Use promo code Todd at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. At bonefrogcoffee.com/Todd. Use promo code Todd at checkout to get 15% off subscription coffee for life. Tucker Carlson is an opinion journalist. He's a commentating journalist. He decided to have the dictator of Iran on. One of the big criticisms of him had to do with the comparison between he questioning the dictator of Iran and Ted Cruz, and we'll talk about that. Tucker asked if the nuclear program is something that Iran would be willing to give up in exchange for peace.
Would you be willing to give up the nuclear program in exchange for peace?
I would like to tell you what has happened, and it was Netanyahu since 1984 has created this false mentality that Iran seeks a nuclear bomb, and it has insinuated that Iran is trying to develop a nuclear bomb in the past, and it has put it in the minds of every U.S. president since then, and to make them believe that we would like to have a nuclear bomb. But the truth is that we have never been after developing a nuclear bomb, not in the past, not presently, or in the future, because this is wrong, and this is in contrast to the religious decree or the fatwa, which has been issued by His Eminence, the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, that so it is religiously forbidden for us to go after a nuclear bomb.
Never heard that, have you? Now, I've heard Iran and some of their operatives saying, we're going to destroy the West. I've heard them saying that they're going to destroy the little Satan and then the big Satan, that's Israel and America. I don't know how you do that with conventional forces. Maybe it's through other means. Maybe it's through means of terrorism. But I've never heard that. So Tucker's job is to bring us things we've never heard. And I can testify to this, not because I know Tucker, I don't. But because I know what it's like to leave a constrained media environment and to be unconstrained. I know the instincts that follow. When I worked in morning radio in Seattle and I was told you cannot say the election was stolen, you cannot question the sanctity, not the sanctity, you can't even suggest it was stolen. I got away with saying it was rigged, but I'd already said I was going to quit. The second they said you can't say stolen, I resigned. And they gave me a very dignified exit, super dignified. I have nothing disparaging to say about him at all. But I know that once those shackles came off, I really enjoyed being able to say whatever I wanted to about the elections. And I liked examining them. I know what it's like to have the shackles taken off. And Tucker Carlson had shackles at Fox News. There were things he wasn't supposed to talk about and expressions he wasn't supposed to make. So you can kind of get excited about doing this. Tucker's also in a position to bring us the ability to think a little bit more about this. Do you believe the dictator of Iran? I mean, you can go look at Memory TV, like I mentioned, and show yourself videos of them promising to take out the West. You can go look at their threats against us, and you can make a determination. You could listen to Marco Rubio, who says, no, wait. If this is just for energy, why do they need the uranium refined up to this point? That's not for energy. No one needs that for energy. This is weapons-grade uranium. Why do they need weapons-grade uranium? Why did they spend money that Barack Obama gave them to arm people to attack our troops in Syria? If they're not interested in war with us, why were they funding a war with us? Why did they fund Hamas? But it allows us to have this debate. Tucker Carlson does us a favor when he goes and asks the dictator of Iran, hey, have you ever tried to say unalive President Trump?
Has Iran ever backed an attempt against Donald Trump?
This is actually what Netanyahu is trying to insinuate and to make your people or the president of your country to believe. But this is wrong because Netanyahu, as I said, has its own agenda. It wants to drag the U.S. into forever wars, as I said, and to bring more insecurity, instability, and unrest to the whole region.
There are some large number of Iranian nationals living in the United States. Some have said they are, quote, sleeper cells. They are terrorists who are acting at the command of your government. Would you right now make a statement to Iranian citizens living in the United States not to commit acts of violence in the United States?
See, now it's been said that Tucker didn't ask tough questions. One of the criticisms has been comparing Tucker Carlson talking with this guy versus talking to Ted Cruz. So just, again, I don't know Tucker, but I know a little bit about media, and he just hangs up. I mean, he just says, lying American, and hangs up. It's just good for him, so he can get his spin and perhaps his utter lies across. That's good for him. I hope he's not giving coded messages to sleeper cells. I really hope he's not, because he might be. That's a risk we take in a transparent society. That's a risk we take as a people who actually believes the First Amendment protects a journalist, even an opinion journalist like Tucker, in having interviews like this. Now, Ted Cruz isn't going to walk out of the interview. He's not going to hang up in Tucker's face. He can't. Because Ted Cruz needs Tucker Carlson. And Tucker Carlson knows this. But it's a great question. Are there sleeper cells in America? Now, I've been on the record. There have to be. There have to be. The Iranians are not stupid human beings. God gave them intelligence as well. We had an open border, wide open for 4 years. We met people. ICE encountered people at the border who were on the terrorist watch list. Iran and their leaders would have to be blanketly stupid to not take advantage of this. So are there Iranian sleeper cells in America?
You see, these things you're telling me, this, this is the first time I'm hearing them from you or from anybody. You know, the Iranians are known for their knowledge, for their science, for their courtesy, for being civilized. Have you seen otherwise from them? Any other kind of behavior from them, or any violent behavior? Has anybody ever seen anything from them? Yeah, as I said, this is what Israel is trying to put into your minds. They are propagating that Iranians might be capable of doing such a thing, but this is totally untrue. Because by nature, Iranians are pro peace and tranquility, and they're trying to actually make to somehow impact the minds of the decision makers and the people of the United States, and to scare them into getting involved in a war in my region.
All of us are broken. All of us are broken by sin problems. I don't think most of us are innately peace-seeking because we're broken. We're given to falling into discord and disagreements and arguments. I don't think Iranian people are any different. But to answer that man's questions, yeah, I've watched the early morning dawn unalivings of women because they stepped outside their houses without men or boys following them. That doesn't seem horribly peaceful to me. So Tucker Carlson made a decision, and I think it was a good one. He went and had the conversation. He asks what would happen if war broke out with Iran. Would they receive help from Russia and China?
We have always put our trust in God, and in God we trust. And we are capable enough to defend ourselves and to stand on our own 2 feet and to defend our country, our territory.
So effectively, it's a non-answer. If you defended Tucker Carlson for having a conversation with Vladimir Putin, why would you not defend him for having this conversation? We live in an era where we've learned there's very little we can trust that comes out of the mouths of many, many government leaders in the United States. Is it different with the dictators of Iran? Is it different? We can judge them by their fruits, and this is what we should do. What are the fruits of Iran since the Islamic takeover? What did Iran look like before? What was the state of human rights? What were the state of women's rights? What were the state of the economy? The balance of power, the balance of assets. What's happened in the United States? Let's use God's wisdom, not our own. Let's judge them by their fruits.